Creating designs and coming up with new ideas to test can be one of the hardest parts of print on demand for a new seller. So in today's video, I'm going to show you my process for researching and then finding ways to create a whole bunch of designs at once. And this strategy works extremely well for Etsy because on Etsy, people are finding you through your individual listings. So you can try a bunch of different niches in your store. For me, my store started off as a general shirt and t-shirt store. I have drilled down into one niche now, but I found that niche through testing. I put up a whole bunch of different niches in my store, and then once I found the ones that were working for me, that's when I started designing more for them. But this type of testing requires a bunch of designs to be able to test, and most really successful print-on-demand stores have at least a few hundred designs, if not thousands, which can seem really overwhelming until you go through the process I'm going to share with you today. My first step is doing research. So say I already know I want my store to be a candle, so we're going to be making a bunch of candle designs quickly, but first we need to start by searching what's actually selling for candles on Etsy. So I've looked up candle on Etsy, and now using Everbee, I'm going to sort by monthly sales to find out which ones are doing well right now, and then I'm going to open them up. So I see this one here, Sarah's Last Nerve candle. I'm going to open this one. I'm going to open this personalized Father's Day one, and maybe this one, and you can open up a few that you are seeing that are doing really well in sales for this month. Here is the current top selling candle, Sarah's Last Nerve, where someone's able to put in a custom name here. And what I'm taking in is I'm taking in the fonts, I'm taking in what type of candle it's doing really well on. So it's this one with the brown jar. And then I'm also taking a look at the backgrounds. It seems like cream and whitish background is really doing well for this. Here's another bestseller, almost the exact same thing. When doing my research for these, I'm finding that these Last Nerve ones are really popular, but they might be overdone. So I don't think I'm going to do Mom's Last Nerve because I'm going to be competing with a bunch of people, but I'm still studying the design again. We have customization is doing really well. We have this white background, this thick text, and also it has this little text at the bottom that has information about the candle. Here's another bestseller. Again, this one says personalized Father's Day gift, though I don't see the personalization here, but something I see across all the bestsellers is this is just a very simple text design that's doing really well. One that's really easy to read, and then it has some secondary text on the side or somewhere on here that has information about the candle, but I'm not seeing any icons at all in the bestsellers on these. And the final one, again, extremely similar, max 2 different types of text, very easy to read, and has personalization. So to sell these, I'm going to be using Printify, but first I need to understand which one I want to sell before I start designing. So I'm going to take a look at the different ones here. We've seen a bunch of people selling this one, but some of the best sellers I saw had this amber jar or the brown jar, and this one's actually newer, meaning there's less competition. It has 2 sizes, so there's extra choices for people, and it's actually cheaper. So I'm probably going to be using this one. So I'm going to click into here. Once I hit start designing, you're going to be brought into a page like this. And from here, we're able to find our print area size. And I'm going to take note of this. It's 900 by 600. So I'm going to create my design file to be this size. So when I upload it, it fits perfectly. So coming into Canva or Kittl or wherever you create your designs, you're going to create a design, and we're going to create a custom size, which is 900 by 600 pixels. Canva does have templates, so if you wanted to start from a template, you can look up candle templates, but when you're picking one, remember those best sellers. They were text focused. They didn't have too much lines. The main text was really easy to read and usually a thick font. So you need to make sure that you're keeping those in mind when picking one, or you can create a template by yourself. So I'm going to be creating my own based on what I saw was doing well within the Etsy bestsellers. I saw a text like this doing really well. I opened the bestseller, the Sarah's Last Nerve, and then I went through the different Canva fonts they had available so that I could create one that looks similar. So the font that I found that seemed to be doing really well is Recoleta, which is a Canva font already. So I've put in my text here. I noticed customization was doing really well. So I added in a bit of customization. And now I also saw that having that little bit of information about the candle at the bottom was doing well. So I'm going to hit text, make this smaller, and then I'm going to add that type of information in. But we need the right information, which we can get from Printify. And in Printify, you can find that information here, 100% natural soy wax blend. If you scroll down, there's more information in the about, and I'm going to add that into my candle design. And there we go. I've created my own variation of a best-selling design, starting with research first, because I don't want to be creating a bunch of designs based on zero research. If I'm modeling design after a design that's not working, chances are my design's not going to work either. But now you may be asking, okay, this took a while to create. How am I going to create 100 of these? Let me show you. Using a tool like Gemini or like ChatGPT, I've asked it to write me 30 different life milestones, because those are the things that I want to be putting on candles. And I got a bunch here. We have things like graduation, getting your first job, moving out of your parents' house, buying a car, getting married, and 30 different options right here. And then I followed that up by asking for it to fill in this sentence, smells like ... And then I gave an example. For example, smells like she's a homeowner. And I just let it know what these would be printed on, so it had some context. And I got a few different options here. Graduation, smells like diplomas and endless possibilities. And I'm going to scroll through these and pick which ones I like. And then if I don't like them, you can ask it a secondary prompt, like I wrote, make them shorter and funnier. Like graduation, smells like adulting. So coming back to my Canva, I'm actually just going to duplicate the design that I had created, and I'm going to put in this brand new text, and I'm going to change the type of customization option because the date might not work. It depends exactly on what type of niche you're going for. So this one's about graduating. So maybe they can put in what program they graduated from, what year, what date, whatever customization you want to put in here. And now we're just going to duplicate that again and enter another thing that we got from ChatGPT in here. So now we have a bunch of different text ideas, and I just asked ChatGPT for 30, but you can keep asking for more and more. You can create different variations for the same niches. You can test different niches. So we have smells like a fresh start, smells like adulting, smells like she's sober, smells like a PhD, smells like she's an author, smells like she's getting hitched. And your text doesn't have to be this, but you can give ChatGPT a text template to follow like I did and have it fill in the rest of the sentence depending on different niches that you give it. Smells like John's Problems Now, smells like a homeowner, smells like a boss B word I can't say, smells like freedom, smells like new car. And you may be wondering, well, I don't know, what if this design doesn't work? But that's the best part of this is based off bestsellers already. If I was starting with a design that I didn't know had a history of selling, I'd be a lot more wary about creating a bunch of different niches in this design. But because this is backed by research already, I'm more comfortable to now going into testing niches instead of just the design. And so many stores do this. If you see a store that has like over 1,000 designs, I bet when you start going through them, you're going to find a lot of similarities between their designs. You're going to find that they have one design and they've just kept changing the text, but the design keeps looking the same. They're just changing the niche. And now by having a bunch of different niches in their store with a bunch of different keywords, they are targeting so many different Etsy searches, which unlike on Shopify, where you're trying to niche down in your niche because you need targeted marketing, with Etsy, you're trying to cover different search terms. So by testing different niches, you're getting more luck and having more things out there for people to find. And if you're new to designing, I'll give you a hint. Text-based designs do extremely well in print on demand. Most of my designs and most of the stores that do this are strictly text-based designs. And this strategy doesn't have to be just for candles, for example. This can work extremely well for mugs. There's a few fonts that do extremely well on mugs. If you study the mugs, you're going to find a lot of them have a very similar type of design to candles. It's different, but make sure you're studying mugs and then use this strategy. For sweatshirts, for example, you might see this design and think it looks really familiar because this design is really popular for mama, but I've gone and changed it to Gigi, or I've also tried applying it to other similar niches like actress, nurse, realtor, and I can plug in a bunch of different niches and again use ChatGPT or Gemini to help me come up with these different niches to test. So on Gemini, I asked it to create me 10 careers or niches that would have a similar taste in shirts like moms. For example, aunts, nurses, and it gave me a bunch of more female-related careers like teachers, librarians, childhood givers, admin, nurses, guidance counselors, social workers. And I do ask for things like this because what might work on a mom shirt might not appeal to someone saying say, buying a fishing shirt. Their different styles might vary, so I try to group the niches into ones that would have similar interests. Maybe what's doing well on fishing shirts might also do well on hunting or camping or more outdoorsy niches, versus moms might have a lot more things to do with female careers or females in your family. We have this example for mugs. Text-based, this one is for a supervisor, so this could be applied to a bunch of other different careers. And if you take a look at this design here, it was really popular for a bit, has over 7,000 sales for this supervisor mug, which is a very specific niche. So coming back to Gemini, I asked it to rate 50 different careers similar to a supervisor. You can even do ones that aren't similar to a supervisor if you want. But we got things like project manager, team lead. We have things like head teacher, department chair. You can go ahead and pick any of these, make up your own as well, but then you can even use it to help you come up with the rest. So I wrote for a project manager, write a funny dictionary description. And I got a few different options here, which I can paste into the template that I create. And if you start studying stores, you're going to see a lot of people do this. They're putting out the same design, testing multiple different niches to find what works and increase their likelihood of getting sales. Like Ikerson Ltd, which is one of the best-selling print-on-demand stores because they have over 6,000 listings, slightly less than 6,000 listings. But if you take a look through their store, you're going to find they only have a handful of different designs, but they've applied these designs to so many different niches. And now once I upload these to Printify, this is what it looks like. And this looks really professional to me. Compared to the other ones that I've seen as bestsellers, I really think my design matches up because I follow the types of styles that were doing well. I noticed custom was doing really well. I noticed what background colors were doing really well, what information on the candle was needed to become a bestseller. But I've created my own sayings, my own text, my own variation, so I'm not copying anyone. And if you want a longer tutorial on how I do research and then what thoughts and checklists I go through to create added value, I highly recommend watching the video I created 2 weeks ago. And an extra tip, if your designs require customization, you can also use Hello Custom to automate your order so you don't have to manually upload your design every time you have a custom order. And Hello Custom right now does have a deal for $67. So what this allows you to do is it allows your customers to add personalization, and a Hello Custom will automatically fill in that customization for you and send it to print with your approval, so you're saving time on any customized orders. If you are interested in using Hello Custom and getting this deal for $67 for lifetime access, keep in mind this is regularly $29.99 a month for access, so I don't know when this deal ends, but I would recommend hopping on it. I'll link it in the top comment and the description below for you guys to use. Thank you guys so much. I hope this helped, and I'll see you next week.